Now, it's not news when I say that consumerism is at its peak today, thanks to social media. It's also not news when I say that brands are burning the midnight oil to engage, entertain, and connect with this very discerning audience. However, what they've still not got is the fact that gone are the days of planning and replanning before they put out a piece of communication. In today's day and age, you either ride the current wave or be left behind. Parminder Singh of Twitter reiterated just that, for brands to be a lot more agile, to act and react in real time, to truly leverage this gold mine called social media. Listen in.
It is a given that, we're not as advanced, technologically advanced in terms of our brand behavior on social media. The West is clearly ahead of the curve compared to us, right? So just given the fact that how do marketers deal with the likes of Twitter as opposed to, let's say, marketers there, just the way they approach it?
If you know that, videos in India, because of the given bandwidth, it'll be difficult to load the videos over here. That will have an obvious impact on the way you would use the medium. So we see, in the West, we see a lot of use of videos, rich media. Not as much over here as we would want it to be because of just the technological limitation. I don't think there's any dearth of creativity or imagination. It's just about, the technological constraints that exist in the country. And sometimes also, I think it's about education and it's about empowerment. Social media works best when people down the line are empowered to tweet, to post, and to react and to be part of the moment. If the moment is gone, then you lost that, that critical juncture where you can be at the center of people's mind.
Great. So that's a great point. So you're saying it's important to be topical, right? Do you think brands are equipped in India specifically, equipped to, ride the wave, so to speak? Yeah. Are they really switched on at all points in time? Because you actually have to be like a newsroom, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think there are two elements to it. One is, you need to understand what your brand stands for and what's the voice of your brand, and be true to that throughout. One of the things that we are doing with agencies and marketeers is introducing a program called Take Flight, in which we help brands understand what's the voice of your brand. Imagine your brand was a person. What kind of a person would he be? Is he, a kind uncle? Is he a close friend? What do you think your brand is? So think of that person, use that voice, and stay true to that voice. That's the first element. The second element is to understand all the moments that peak and trend on social media and put your brand in the front and center of that moment.
Do you think Twitter today is a luxury? Really an add-on, or is it a must-have for brands?
Yeah. You should look at this in the context of the overall media landscape, not just in India or anywhere in the world. There are three things that symbolize the media evolution these days. Number one, people are now always on media. Gone are the days when people would go home, switch on the TV, and that was their media consumption. We are always on. We react to media in a very close manner. It's on the phone. 76% of Twitter's usage is on the phone. So media is much more close. And number three is we have a point of view, and we want to express that point of view immediately. That's how media consumption now is different from how it used to be. And we believe that Twitter, being a medium that's live, that's public, and that conversational, is actually at the center of that, what symbolizes media today. So we believe Twitter is a medium that's for everyone, everywhere, at every moment on the planet.
But is it a must-have for brands, for marketers?
I would think so. I'll give you an example. The interesting phenomenon these days is that whether you are watching a movie or you go to a restaurant, so the trigger could be offline, but the emotional fulfillment of that trigger happens online. It's a very interesting point, because, if you look at what happened during World Cup football, we saw 672 million tweets during football. And with each goal scored, the tweet volume would go up. So what's happening is people are consuming something offline, but the emotional fulfillment of it is happening online.
One example of a brand who has done this absolutely fabulously, engaged with their audience, an Indian brand on Twitter.
I thought what Samsung did the day iPhone 6 was launched was cheeky, but it was interesting. iPhone 6 was this big moment for Apple, and Samsung had a promoted trend which said more than big, which became kind of viral over here. I thought it was interesting. It was a nice take on a global phenomenon, and people responded to it.
Are you suggesting that brands, instead of just feeding information, need to really become personalities, need to have, an attitude, whatever their attitude is of their brand, but need to show that and really, become, human beings of sorts on Twitter.
People love talking to human beings and not PR machines. And that's something brands should understand, which is why we do ask brands to think of their brand in terms of a human being and figure out what kind of human being is it and stay true to it. But that's step one. Step two is understanding the right moments that are relevant from your brand's perspective. Step three, it's a very important one, is on social media, speed trumps perfection. Sometimes brands come from the mindset of traditional media, print or TV, where everything has to be just about perfect for it to be released, for it to be in market. But remember, this is social media. If you are relevant in that moment, that's a little more important than just being perfect. So think about speed trumping perfection on social media. Make sure that the guy who's handling your Twitter or Facebook, he could be a college pass out with 3 years experience. You have to empower him to make sure that he feels confident enough to post something in that moment. Because if that moment is lost, then you've lost the relevance.
That's a brilliant point, Parry. I think most people's takeaway should be that. Thank you so much, Parry, for sharing all those insights this afternoon.